trust, misinformation. I think we are missing a lot of education.
Plus, what's preventing members of Utah's Black and Latino communities from getting the COVID-19 vaccine? Why some say there's just not enough information.
And this year, how to keep those New Year's Eve celebrations from becoming super spreader events. We've got your pandemic alternatives.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News at 6 starts now.
And good evening. It's great to have you with us tonight. I'm Nick McGurk, in for Glenn Mills.
And I'm Emily Flores. Thank you for joining us. Well, New Year's Eve is just 2 days away, and celebrating safely can be challenging, of course, during the pandemic. Health officials advise against it, against the big social celebrations, but say if you can manage to social distance and wear masks, that is okay, as long as you quarantine beforehand. ABC4's Jordan Burroughs joining us live from Gateway, known for its holiday parties. And Jordan, how's it going to be managing this year?
Yeah, the Gateway is used to throwing these elaborate parties with people dancing and singing and eating and drinking. But of course, this New Year's Eve, that will be done on a much smaller scale. When I talked to the marketing manager, she says their plan for this year was to do a hybrid option, which they had planned for a couple months ago. That's for this New Year's Eve celebration. So a small amount of people will be allowed here to enjoy the festivities, and they must wear masks and social distance. Jacqueline Briggs says they will actually be 12 feet away from one another. Of course, the Gateway will also be live streaming the event online. Briggs says they did consider canceling the event, but said they want the community to experience some joy on New Year's Eve.
There's a lot of people at home that have felt isolated this year, and they may very well look forward to this kind of experience and something to do.
Just like with Christmas, health officials say on this holiday, on New Year's Day, they do expect a surge in COVID-19 cases in the weeks to follow. They say the best way to prevent that is to celebrate safely with those that live in your immediate household. Reporting live from the Gateway, I'm Jordan Burroughs, ABC4 News.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. To the latest now on the spread of COVID-19 in the Beehive State. 2,736 more people have tested positive for the virus since yesterday. The Utah Department of Health also reporting 16 new deaths. That brings our death toll now to 1,235. There are 506 Utahns currently hospitalized. Total hospitalizations from the beginning of the outbreak stand at 10,763. More than 20,000 people, by the way, have received the first dose of the vaccine. And we're going to take a look at the past 7 days now. The rolling 7-day average for positive tests is 2,035 per day across our state. The average positivity rate for laboratory tests is 24.7%. Now, the Utah County Health Department, they started administering doses of COVID-19 vaccines to firefighters. Both Lehigh and Mapleton fire departments, that includes paramedics and EMTs, they got their first doses today. 13 people with Mapleton Fire volunteered to become some of the first pre-hospital EMS workers in the state to receive the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Lehigh Fire Department statement said, "This is an important step toward protecting the community, first responders, and their families."
While some are lining up for the shot, others in Utah minority groups tell ABC4 News that they have mixed feelings about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. ABC4 News Northern Utah correspondent Jordan Verdadero joins us with more on that story.
Residents say they are left with more questions rather than answers, especially with how the vaccine could impact minority populations like Latinos and Blacks who have been disproportionately affected by the virus here in Utah. Lizette Villegas is a Latino advocate out of Cache Valley and says many Hispanics are too worried to get the Moderna or Pfizer vaccination.
I think it's that lack of trust, misinformation. I think we are missing a lot of education.
She says she and her family have all received preventative vaccinations for other diseases, but she's not yet ready for the coronavirus shots.
It's just too soon, and we don't know much about it, and it's intimidating to just jumping in because everybody else is doing it.
Alicia Martinez of Midtown Community Health Center in Ogden says feelings like Villegas are completely normal, but believes these vaccines are the only hope right now.
There are a lot of questions, and there may not be a lot of answers, and that's definitely the scariest thing. Because you don't necessarily feel like you can make that choice with the information that's available. And not only information, because right now we are being inundated, but digestible information.
Unethical U.S. government medical research in the past has caused many minorities to lose trust with the public health system, such as the Tuskegee syphilis study on Black men, which misled them to believe they were getting treatments they never received.
But the biggest is that lack of trust, of we're just going to get it because the government is telling us to get it. And as we know with the Latino community, trust is very important.
I want to make sure that individuals know that they can reach out to their primary care provider or those trusted organizations to get your questions answered in a manner that's digestible.
Villegas says maybe one day she will get the coronavirus vaccination once more information becomes available specific to minorities. Reporting in Ogden, Jordan Verdadero, ABC4 News.
Thank you, Jordan. Well, Midtown Community Health Center will begin distributing vaccines to patients sometime between January and March, they say. For more information, you can head to our website, abc4.com. And from northern Utah to southern Utah, you can see on the Southern Utah Weather Camera Network a dusting of white there. Will we see more? ABC4 Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy always has the answer.
Alana joining us now. Sorry to interrupt. I want to say hi.
I'm so
we love
glad.
Alana.
Hi, Nick. I'm happy to see you. Emily, I'm happy to see you too. And yes, that fresh snow in southern Utah means snow cover on the ground and cold temperatures in store for tonight. It's also very icy shot there from Bear Lake. Carol Dyer sent this our way. Beautiful. We saw the sunshine, but unfortunately some inverted conditions up there in places like Cache Valley. Great sunset caught tonight by Brian Whiteleather. Thanks for sending this my way. Weather at abc4.com for your weather photos. This was North Ogden at 5:06 on the last Tuesday of the year. We had that storm system that dropped the snow exit the state. Now the front right there in the Four Corners area still bringing some wet weather to Bluff. That should clear in the next hour. Places like Monticello picking up 7 inches of snow from that system. We watch it move to the east and we're seeing some more clouds starting to move in. They'll impact us for our Wednesday, but clear skies tonight with high pressure in control. Cold temperatures out there freezing along the Wasatch Front. Logan at 11 degrees, Evanston at 17. Cache Valley struggled today, stayed in the teens, and that's because of the inverted conditions. 27 in Salt Lake right now, teens in Moab, 21 in Green River, 10 in Milford, Delta at 19, 43 in St. George. That's the warm spot. Like to see it. But unfortunately, the rest of the state frosty. 20 is expected for the next several hours in Salt Lake as we get through with those clear skies, so a very cold start to our Wednesday. We also get on Wednesday the arrival of our next storm system in the Pacific Northwest. It won't start to impact us for another day, but I will show you exactly how this will ring in the new year with portions of the Beehive State in my full forecast. Nick, Emily, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Alana. Just into our newsroom. In Sandy, firefighters responding to a house fire. They discovered the homeowner was dead inside the house. We've got the scene for you here. 11201 Tall Pines Way in Sandy. A neighbor reported seeing smoke and then flames just pouring out of the second story and even the attic. Fire crews say they couldn't get to the second story because fire had damaged the weakened floors. Firefighters from both Sandy and Draper, they're investigating at this hour just what started this fire. Now, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was hit with several lawsuits this week for allegedly covering up decades of sexual abuse among Boy Scout troops in Arizona. Now, the lawsuit alleges members of the church, sponsored Boy Scout troops, as either church-sponsored Boy Scout troops, allegedly were abused, and they would tell church bishops about what they'd experienced. Now, the bishops, allegedly, would tell the victims to keep quiet so the church could conduct its own investigation, and in the meantime, the accused would be allowed to continue in their roles. A church spokesman said in a statement that the allegations are inaccurate and that the church has zero tolerance for abuse.
Well, South Salt Lake police are asking for your help to find a suspect in an armed robbery. Police said back on December 4th, this man robbed the Family Dollar in South Salt Lake. Now, he was on a bike and apparently frequents the plasma donation centers in downtown Salt Lake City. If you can identify this individual, please contact Detective Hill at South Salt Lake Police. The city of Ogden has a new police chief, the mayor naming Eric Young the new chief. This following Chief Randy Watt's retirement announcement. Now, Watt was named chief of police in 2016 after previously serving as the assistant chief. Eric Young previously served as Ogden deputy chief of police before being named chief today.
I really take it as a challenge to go out and kind of help change the face or the opinion of policing, at least in our community.
The mayor's pick for the new chief still needs to receive consent from the city council. Today, the city of Taylorsville also appointed a new police chief. The city has given the job to Brady Cottom. The Taylorsville City Council will vote on Chief Cottom's appointment on January 6th. Cottom will lead the new Taylorsville City Police Department beginning operations July 1st, 2021.
Well, still ahead in this newscast, 2020, right? That's all you got to say. It has been defined by the pandemic. And as this crazy year comes to a close, we are re-examining the big moments that brought us to where we are today.
Plus, Dixie State University is in for its first year of Division I basketball, and tonight they have a big road game. Who are they facing off against? None other than the #1 team in the country. That's ahead in sports.
And a look outside now at the Salt Lake Valley. What a gorgeous skyline, right? Alana will have more on what you can expect heading into New Year's Eve on your full forecast.